We all want to love and be loved, don't we? I mean, it's fundamental.
Absolutely. Deep down human desire.
But what if, and this is tough, what if despite, our absolute best intentions, the way we do love is actually causing us pain or struggle, even obsession? It's this really powerful, sometimes frankly devastating dynamic, often called loving too much.
And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We're doing a deep dive into Robin Norwood's, what's the seminal work, Women Who Love Too Much.
Right.
We want to understand the often hidden dynamics, these self-defeating relationship patterns.
And it's not about knocking love itself, is it?
No, not at all. This isn't a criticism of love. It's about identifying and really understanding a specific pattern of behavior, a progressive one, actually, that if you don't check it, can lead to just immense suffering.
So for you, listening right now, this deep dive, we hope, offers a kind of shortcut, a way to understand these really complex dynamics.
Get your head around them.
And maybe some surprising facts about why we get drawn to certain people, and ultimately maybe a path toward healthier, more, fulfilling connections.
A different kind of love story, perhaps.
Definitely. Get ready to explore a very different kind of love story. Okay, let's unpack this then. The core definition right from the book, it's pretty direct.
It is.
Loving too much means you essentially put up with characteristics, values, behaviors in a partner that you really don't like.
Things you know aren't right for you.
Exactly. All because you have this belief, this hope that your love is going to somehow magically change him.
The transformation fantasy.
Yeah. And it gets serious. It's when your relationship actually starts to jeopardize your emotional well-being, your physical health, or even your safety.
And that's a major red flag right there.
It's huge.
It absolutely is. And, the book uses this provocative term for it, man junkies.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And what's really crucial to grasp here is that this obsession, it isn't real love. It's rooted in deep fear. Deep fear. We're talking fear of being alone, fear of feeling unlovable or unworthy, fear of being ignored, abandoned, or even destroyed.
Gosh.
And the dynamic is you're pouring out love in this desperate, almost frantic hope that this person, this man you're obsessed with, is somehow going to make all those deep fears just vanish.
But it backfires.
Tragically, yes.
Yeah.
What often happens is the fears just get deeper, they intensify,
Yeah.
and that just drives you to try and love even harder. It's a cycle.
That deep fear, it sounds like it could be almost invisible to the person actually experiencing it. Like, what would be the very first hint that maybe you're operating from fear, not love?
That's a great question. Often it's that feeling of constant anxiety or like this perpetual need to do something, anything, to keep the relationship going.
Even when it feels wrong.
Even when everything inside you is kind of screaming that it's wrong, yeah. You might find yourself constantly analyzing his words, his moods, trying to predict things, prevent him from pulling away.
Like walking on eggshells.
Exactly. It's an internal state of high alert, and it's absolutely exhausting.
And this isn't some, rare condition, right? The book says many, many of us have been man junkies.
Many of us.
And that most of us have loved too much at least once. So this is widespread. It's not just a few isolated cases.
No, it really resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it really hits home when you think about this critical indicator the book points out. Measuring the degree of your love by the depth of your torment.
Oof. Say that again.
Measuring the degree of your love by the depth of your torment.
Wow.
Think about that. What does that actually look like day to day? Is it like constantly chasing after validation, or maybe even a sort of twisted pride in how much hardship you can endure for the relationship?
Measuring love by torment. That's a gut punch, I'm sure, for many listening. Sounds like this constant striving where the bigger the struggle, the more real the love feels.
Right. Look how much I've suffered for this.
It has to be love, exactly. But, okay, where does this even start? What are the roots of these patterns?
Well, that intense, often subconscious drive, it often begins way back, deep in our past.
Childhood.
Tracing back to dysfunctional homes, homes where fundamental emotional needs just weren't met.
Okay.
And it's not just about, an obvious lack of love or affection.
Yeah.
Critically, it often includes the denial or the invalidation of a child's own perceptions and feelings.
Denial of feelings. How does that work?
Well, imagine this scenario the book uses. A child hears their parents yelling, really going at it. They feel that knot of fear in their stomach, right?
Totally.
Then maybe the mother, still clearly furious, turns to the child and says, completely deadpan, I'm not mad.
Oh, wow.
What does
Yeah.
the child do? They're forced to choose. Either my parents just lied to me,
Yeah.
or my own senses, my own feelings are wrong.
That's incredibly confusing for a kid.
It leads to profound confusion.
Yeah.
And over time, an inability to trust their own perceptions, which you can see severely impairs their ability later as adults to know what's actually good for them.
Makes total sense they'd struggle in relationships then.
Precisely. And beyond that specific dynamic, dysfunctional homes often have other characteristics too. Things like abuse of alcohol or drugs, obviously,
Right.
or compulsive behaviors like overeating, workaholism, gambling, or even just extreme rigidity about money or religion, things like that.
Control issues.
Yeah, control is a big theme. These environments, they fundamentally disrupt honest contact, real intimacy, and they can leave children, as the book says, damaged in their ability to feel and relate.
And so, as a way to cope, these kids often become caregivers.
Exactly. They step into that role. They try to fill their own unmet emotional needs, kind of vicariously, by taking care of others.
Like they become the little adult in the house.
That's it. It often leads to this pseudo-adult role in childhood, carrying burdens they weren't emotionally ready for. But, and here's the twist, they might gain a sort of perverse, fleeting sense of power from it.
Well, what's the emotional cost of that? Beyond just, doing the chores or whatever.
Oh, the emotional cost is immense. They learn that their worth comes from doing for others.
Not just from being.
Exactly. From fixing things, managing things,
Yeah.
rather than just being loved for who they are. They miss out on that crucial stage of developing their own identity, understanding their own needs, because they're just too busy managing everyone else's feelings and problems.
That's such a heavy burden for a child. It sets the blueprint, doesn't it?
It really shapes their relational blueprint.
We see this so clearly in the case example of Jill in the book. She had nearly all the characteristics,
A classic case.
taking more than 50% of the responsibility, the guilt, the blame in her relationships, always trying to shrink or fix her partner, Randy.
And Randy was unavailable.
Totally. Vague, afraid of closeness, had a drinking problem, standard type almost.
Familiar.
And she even flew cross-country on a really tight budget just to see him, driven by this low self-esteem, needing to, quote, extract signs of caring from him.
Heartbreaking.
It is, and Norwood's observation is so sharp. Hungry people make poor shoppers.
It's the nail on the head.
Jill was basically just recreating the emotional climate of her childhood, trying to finally win that withheld love from a man who was just like her emotionally distant father.
And this brings up that question listeners often wrestle with. Why? Why are we drawn to these types who seem guaranteed to cause pain?
It seems counterintuitive.
Totally. And the tragic irony, the book points out, is that women who love too much are often not attracted to men who are kind, stable, reliable, and interested in you.
Really, they find them boring.
They find those nice men boring because the drama isn't there. Instead, they're unconsciously, powerfully drawn to men who replicate the struggle.
The struggle they knew as kids.
The struggle they endured with their parents. It's a familiar dance, you see, even if it's a deeply painful one.
And it's amazing how culture plays into this, too. Like, the book talks about the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale.
Oh, yes, that powerful narrative.
It suggests, that a woman's selfless, devoted love can magically turn a monster into a prince, which just reinforces this deep cultural bias that women can change men, and maybe even that they should try, through love.
It's such a pervasive idea, but, isn't there also a genuine hope that people can change for the better? How does the book draw the line between healthy support for someone's growth and this self-defeating pattern of trying to fix them?
That's a really crucial distinction.
Yeah, how do you tell the difference?
The book argues that this specific belief, the Beauty and the Beast kind, it actually perpetuates denial and control.
Okay, denial and control.
Denial protects you from the pain of the reality, right? It lets you live in a fantasy of what could be.
Right, keeps the hope alive, however unrealistic.
And the control, that's more subconscious. It's a motivation to protect yourself from those overwhelming feelings you had as a kid. The chaos, the fear.
Ah, okay. Trying to manage the present to avoid the past pain?
Exactly. And there's this fantastic phrase from the book, help is the sunny side of control.
Ooh, I like that. Help is the sunny side of control.
It means, essentially, when we help someone who is perfectly capable of doing something for himself.
When we jump in to rescue.
Yeah. We're often, maybe unconsciously, trying to control our own feelings connected to him, or trying to control the outcome so we don't feel uncomfortable or anxious.
So it's not really about empowering them. It's about managing ourselves.
Exactly. It's not genuine empowerment. Melanie, another case in the book, is such a clear example of this savior complex.
Tell us about Melanie.
As a child, her mother was sick, so Melanie took over the mother's role in the house, and in return, she got her father's grateful dependency,
Ah, the reward.
which the book calls the headiest stuff for a child. It basically formed her entire identity around being the savior, the capable one.
So that became her pattern.
Totally. As an adult, she was like a virtual magnet for someone who spelled trouble. Like her partner, Sean,
Yeah.
irresponsible, unfaithful, financially enabled by his own mother.
The classic project.
Exactly.
And the book uses that wonderful metaphor, shall we dance, to illustrate this dynamic, right? This codependency.
Yes. Explain that.
Well, it suggests Sean and Melanie, through their different childhoods, each develop their own unique set of psychological steps, movements, gestures.
Their own dance moves.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And when they met, it wasn't random. Their very different dances somehow magically synchronized into an exquisite duet, a perfect pas de deux of action and reaction.
Wow. So they fit together perfectly, dysfunctionally.
Perfectly. When he lets go of responsibility, she instinctively picks it up. When he dances away emotionally, she performs a perfect waiting step. They enable each other to stay locked in this familiar, unhealthy pattern. It perfectly mirrors each other's needs and, well, dysfunctions.
And this ties into something even deeper, the games from transactional analysis. The book mentions the rescuer, persecutor, and victim triangle.
Yes, the Cartman drama triangle. It's fascinating.
It is, because these games are described as structured ways people interact that actually avoid real intimacy.
They keep you busy, keep you interacting, but without genuine closeness.
And they cleverly shift responsibility around. It's like these subconscious routines we play out, repeating old patterns to protect ourselves from feeling truly vulnerable.
Even if the game itself leads to misery.
Right.
So the roles are pretty distinct, right?
Mm.
You've got the rescuer who's trying to help, but often in an enabling way.
The fixer.
The fixer. Then the persecutor, who's all about blaming,
Pointing the finger.
and the victim, who feels blameless, helpless, like things just happen to them.
So how does that actually play out, like in a typical argument?
Okay, let's use the example from the book, Mary and Tom. Tom shows up late. He's playing the victim,
Yeah.
implicitly.
Poor me. Traffic was bad.
Right. Mary worries. Maybe she starts as a victim too. I was so worried. But then she gets angry he didn't call him. She shifts to persecutor.
You never think about me.
Exactly. He feels attacked, maybe feels guilty back to being the victim. She might see him looking crestfallen and relent, becoming the rescuer.
Oh, honey.
It's okay.
Oh.
But then he might flip, accusing her of always starting fights. Now he's the persecutor. She retaliates, also persecuting. He tries to smooth things over, back to rescue her. She keeps crying, maybe landing back in victim.
It's exhausting just hearing it.
It is. They're constantly trading positions in this, quote, no-win cycle of accusation, rebuttal, blame, and counterblame that is pointless, futile, and degrading.
A nonstop dance designed to avoid actually connecting.
Precisely. Avoiding real intimacy.
Which is fascinating because you'd think bad relationships equal bad everything else, right? Especially sex.
You think so?
But the book has a whole chapter titled Good Sex and Bad Relationships. I mean, I'm genuinely curious. How does that work? What's the dynamic there?
It's a really powerful paradox, isn't it? And one that keeps people hooked.
I bet.
The book explains it's often this kind of enchantment by the dream, that persistent hope, maybe subconscious, that through sex, you can call forth those dormant positive qualities you believe are hidden inside your partner.
Like the sex is proof the real him is still in there somewhere.
Kind of. And also the sheer intensity of the struggle itself, the suffering that contributes to the sexual passion. The book points out that passion literally means suffering.
Wow.
And just on a more basic physiological level, a sexual climax discharges a huge amount of physical and emotional tension.
And there's a lot of tension in these relationships.
Exactly. Abundant tension in unstable, dramatic relationships. So the sex acts as a temporary release valve from all that turmoil. But it's not necessarily a sign of true connection or health.
Right. And the book draws a really important line here. It contrasts this kind of passionate love, that intense, maybe dramatic, idealized romance, what the Greeks called eros, with real love, or agape, which the book defines quite differently as a partnership built on mutual trust, respect, shared values.
The quieter stuff.
Yeah, and a genuine capacity for intimacy. So real love Agape finds its excitement more in knowing and being known, not in the constant frustration or longing or drama that fuels the loving too much pattern.
And we see this struggle so clearly in Trudy's story, another case from the book.
Right, Judy.
After she's done a lot of recovery work on her loving too much patterns, she finds herself with Hal,
The nice guy.
the nice, steady, reliable man who adores her. And she enjoys his company, the conversation is great, she respects him.
Yeah.
But when it comes to physical intimacy, she feels, in her words, stiff, cold, rigid during sex.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She says the excitement, the challenge, the old knot in the stomach just aren't there. And she starts to question if she truly loves him.
Because the drama is missing.
Exactly. She doesn't realize yet that what's missing is the craziness, the pain, the fear, the waiting, and the hoping.
Yeah.
All that stuff she used to associate with love.
So real intimacy feels boring or scary.
It feels like being a virgin, she says. Because it's so new, so vulnerable without the drama, she's terrified of, quote, losing all her armor. All those defenses she built up over years of chaotic relationships.
Losing all her armor? That's such a powerful image. It really makes you think how vulnerable it feels to step into a different kind of intimacy. Scary to let go of what's familiar, right? Even if familiar was painful.
Absolutely.
So how do you move from this place? The book calls it a disease process. How do you get to recovery?
Yeah, Norwood frames loving too much quite deliberately as a disease process. Like alcoholism, it's progressive, it has identifiable symptoms, it needs a specific diagnosis, and crucially, a specific kind of treatment or recovery path.
Okay.
And the absolute core insight here is that the recovery journey demands changing yourself, not the other person.
You can't love them better.
You cannot love someone into changing their core patterns. You can only change your own relationship to yourself and to them.
So what does that actually look like? The book lays out this 10-step path to recovery, says they're simple but not easy.
That's the perfect description. Simple concepts, incredibly hard work.
But it forms a guarantee if followed. So for you listening, what are maybe the most crucial first steps on this path?
Well, the whole first stage is really about acknowledging the reality and seeking outside help. You can't bootstrap your way out of this, usually.
Right.
So step one is vital.
Right.
Go for help. Admit you can't do this alone. This means being really honest, maybe for the first time, about how bad things are.
No more pretending.
No more pretending. Reaching out to professionals, therapists, counselors, or finding relevant support groups like Al-Anon, CODA, maybe others depending on the specifics. It's about breaking that isolation and admitting you need a new map.
Okay, so you take that huge, brave first step. What's next?
That leads right into shifting your focus inward, prioritizing your own healing, which covers the next couple of steps. Step two, make your own recovery the first priority.
Your priority, not his.
Not his recovery, not the relationship's recovery, yours. This means redirecting all that immense energy you used to pour into trying to change him or manage him or understand him.
All that analyzing.
All that analyzing.
Yeah.
And pouring it into changing yourself. It's a total commitment to valuing and nurturing your own well-being, maybe, yeah, for the very first time.
That sounds revolutionary for someone caught in this pattern.
It is. And step three supports that. Find a support group of peers who understand. This is crucial. It's not just complaining about men. These are structured groups focused on individual recovery, sharing experience, strength, and hope. Connecting with others who get it breaks the isolation and helps you see your patterns more clearly.
So, get help. Make yourself the priority. Find your people. Then it seems like the next stage is about a deeper internal shift, like letting go of that need to control everything.
Exactly. That's the huge hurdle of releasing control and cultivating inner resources. Steps 4, 5, and 6 really tackle this. Step 4 is develop your spiritual side through daily practice.
Spiritual, how does that fit?
It's about letting go of self-will, that overwhelming need to manage and control everything and everyone. It means surrendering to something larger than yourself, a higher power as you understand it. It doesn't have to be religious in a traditional sense. It frees you from that crushing burden of feeling responsible for fixing everything. Then step 5, stop managing and controlling others. This is the practical application.
The don't help step.
Pretty much. It's about consciously not helping and not giving advice when another adult is capable of doing for themselves. Let them face their own consequences. It means letting go of that powerful, addictive belief that when he changes, I'll be happy.
Oof, that sounds incredibly hard. If your whole identity is being the fixer, stopping must feel like falling apart.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
It feels terrifying because you're letting go of your perceived power, your main coping mechanism. Which leads right into step 6. Learn to not get hooked into the games.
The rescuer, persecutor, victim triangle again.
Exactly. This step is about recognizing those dynamics in real time and consciously refusing to play your usual part. Stop the need to fight, to blame, to rescue, to make him accountable for his stuff. Focus entirely on your response, your serenity. Stay out of the drama triangle.
Okay, so that's a massive amount of internal work, setting boundaries, changing lifelong habits. What's the ultimate goal? Where does this lead?
Well, the final stage described is really about embracing self-worth and authentic connection. The remaining steps focus here. Step 7. Courageously face your own problems and shortcomings.
Taking responsibility.
Deeply. A fearless, honest look at yourself. Letting go of blaming others for your situation and taking full responsibility for your choices, your patterns. It sounds harsh, but it's incredibly liberating because it gives you the power back.
If you're responsible, you can change it.
Exactly. Then step 8. Cultivate whatever needs to be developed in yourself. Don't wait for him or his approval or his support. Make your own plans. Career, education, hobbies, friendships, build your own life, rely on yourself.
And what does that look like in relationships then?
It naturally leads to step 9. Become selfish. And this isn't selfish in the negative sense.
Healthy self-interest.
Healthy self-interest, exactly. Recognizing your own worth, your talents, the absolute importance of your fulfillment. Learning that your best, happiest, most fulfilled self is actually the greatest gift you have to give anyone.
Wow.
And finally, step 10, and no, it's the last step, not the first. Share with others what you have experienced and learned.
Why last?
So you're not doing it as another form of helping or manipulation, trying to fix others to feel good yourself. By this point, it comes from a genuine place of wanting to offer hope and maintain your own recovery by remembering where you came from.
Janice's story in the book really shows this whole arc, doesn't it?
It really does. She was the classic achiever, the strong one, managed everything, her alcoholic husband, Robbie, the kids, the finances.
Holding it all together.
Until Robbie got sober through AA. And suddenly, Janice felt irrelevant. Fired from her job, as she put it. She was furious, totally lost.
Because her role was gone.
Her role was gone. Her own recovery, which happened through Al-Anon, was all about learning to stop controlling, finding her own interests, her own life separate from his sobriety. And eventually the whole family became healthier because each person started living their own life, taking responsibility for themselves.
It's such a profound shift from being tangled up in codependency to individual well-being.
And that shift leads to this incredible transformation, moving from self-neglect, even self-hate, towards genuine self-acceptance and self-love. It's not overnight, it's gradual. But it's the process that allows you, finally, to be truly known by another person without needing all the old defenses and games.
Hey, thinking back to Trudy again, remember her struggle with intimacy with Hal, the nice guy?
Yes, the fear of losing our armor.
Her recovery in that area involved learning to just be sexual instead of being sexy. The book makes that distinction. Being sexy was an act for her, a performance based on past experiences.
Right. Performing versus being present.
Yeah. It meant she had to communicate her fears, her vulnerabilities during lovemaking, taking control of her own pace, telling Hal honestly what was happening inside her. That takes incredible courage.
It really does. And Trudy had this amazing insight about the gap. She realized no matter who is chasing and who is running away, neither person has to deal with being close. There's always that distance, that gap.
The chase keeps intimacy at bay.
Exactly. So recovery for her was about being willing to hold still and let Hal catch up to me. That terrifying act of closing the gap, embracing a level of closeness that felt utterly foreign, vulnerable, but ultimately deeply fulfilling.
So that outcome, for a woman who recovers from this pattern, it sounds truly liberating.
It is. She learns to accept others as they are without that frantic need to change them. She cherishes herself. She becomes in touch with her actual feelings, not just reacting. She values her serenity more than the drama.
And the result in relationships.
She naturally starts to attract healthier, more balanced partners. Why? Because she's no longer driven by that desperate need to be needed or that deep compulsion to control. She's whole on her own.
So you've heard today just how deep these patterns of loving too much can run, how subtly they can influence our choices, who we're drawn to, and how challenging, definitely, but also how incredibly liberating the path to recovery can be.
The ultimate power, as we've really explored today, it doesn't lie in trying to change someone else. It lies in finding the courage to change yourself.
That commitment.
That commitment. It not only transforms your relationships, it genuinely enriches your entire life. It opens you up to peace, to joy, in ways you might not even be able to imagine right now if you're stuck in the pattern.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the deepest passion you've known has come from struggle and suffering, what new, maybe quieter, but equally profound forms of passion might be waiting for you in the joy of genuine connection and true self-acceptance?